L'chaim. The Yud Aleph Nisan of when the Rebbe became 60, so he spoke that Ba'amoin Beis Yisrael is not known to make something special in Yom HaLedes. He didn't mention it that, but also in the Torah, we find Yom HaLedes as Parei. Okay, we Midrashim, we find Yom HaLedes of Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe Rabbeinu, the Gemara, other tzaddikim. But by regular people, we don't find. And he said that in Yom HaLedes itself, there's a difference. The regular Yom HaLedes of every year, and the Tkufa of Eser Shonim, every 10 years, ben Shleishim Legvuris, ben Arbaim Lebino, ben Chamishim Le'etzo, etc. So by Shishim, we find that a special thing that he made a Yom HaLedes because he has Yetzim Mikoris. So that the Rebbe said it's also only for Yechidus Gula. The beer, like it says in Tanya, in Igeres HaTshuva, that nowadays there's been Shishim, Koros Rachmana Litzlan is not necessarily applicable, because since there's the Indian of Shchinta B'Galusa, so a person could live, even a Rachmana Litzlan, he's Chayiv Koros, so he could live further and get his Chayis, just like Shar Behemoths Atmeis. And so therefore the Rebbe over there, in short, he says this is only Shaykh to Yechidus Gula. And that's the meaning of Yom HaLedes, like it says in Hayom Yom, is a day that a person has to make a Cheshbon HaNefesh. And be Mizboidet and do Tshuva. That's the regular Yom HaLedes. The Churd is the Inyan of Simcha also. So the Rebbe at that time said that there's an Inyan he's going to make a Siyum, a Hadron. So that will make it a Sudas Simcha. Although true, we'll speak by Hamshach that this seemed to have changed, especially after Tovshim Mem Ches, when the Rebbe said the whole Sikha that everybody has to make a special Farbrengen Yom HaLedes. And ubesimcha, and to make it Farbrengen Dafka B'Rabim. In the Yom HaLedes HaShmeini, the Rebbe mentioned many times that physically you become weaker. You don't have the same strength. Although the Mishnah says, Ben Shmeini Legvuris, so he said the answer for that is to attach yourself with others. Attach yourself with youth. That they have the Gvuris Nu'urim. And through that, you can, by attaching yourself with them, you can also get Gvuris. But for that, I need cooperation. Without cooperation, it's not going to work. It can't be a one-way street. It has to be a two-way street. So the Rebbe over there said that Ezra over there that it should be an Inyan, a Sudas Simcha, Sudas Mitzvah, is to make a Siyum. So I'm going to make a shtickle Siyum, just the Mishnah and the end of Seder Zroim. Became old, so I started learning a little bit, so that's why it's Seder Zroim. The last Mishnah of Seder Zroim in the regular Mishnayos, the Ma Amru Abikurim Kenichse Koyen. What did they say that Bikurim becomes like the regular property of a Koyen? Shukoyne behem avodim v'kakoyes, that he can use the Bikurim to acquire servants, property, Ubehemoth Tmeya, you can even acquire a non-kosher animal, like a horse, donkey. Then Ubal Chayv Neitin B'Chayvay B'Isha B'Ksuvasa. If he owes money to somebody, so the Bal Chayv can take it for that debt, and the Isha can take it for a Ksuva. Then there's the verse, one girsa is Vis Sefer Torah. So according to the girsa, Vis Sefer Torah is also the same thing, that by Sefer Torah, the first dinim don't apply. You're not allowed to sell a Sefer Torah to acquire something. The only time you're allowed to sell a Sefer Torah is to get married, or for Limud HaTorah. But legabe the last din that a Bal Chayv and a Bal Chayv can take it for the debt that's owed to him, and a Isha can take it for a Ksuva, so also a Sefer Torah has that. And then then there's another pshat that Vis Sefer Torah, there's a gears of Vis Sefer Torah, that it says that you're allowed to acquire Avodah Karkois and a Behemoth Tmeya, and even a Sefer Torah, you're allowed to buy. What's the chiddush of a Sefer Torah if you can buy a Behemoth Tmeya? Because by Behemoth Tmeya and Avodim Karkois, it can always be used to get food through it, by selling it for food, whatever it is. The Sefer Torah you're not allowed to sell for food. So the chiddush is that over here has no shaychus to the achila. Bikurim lechatchila was given to eat for the kohanim to eat. And then there's another pirush, Meforshim, kis Sefer Torah, like a Sefer Torah, that just like a Sefer Torah, even when you had to sell it, when you were allowed to sell it to get married, v'chuli, the Sefer Torah doesn't lose its kedusha. And also over here, bikurim, that even though you're allowed to sell it, but you have to sell it to another kohen, the bikurim doesn't lose its kedusha, and it can only be eaten by a kohen. And it's just like a Sefer Torah, even when you have to sell, when you're allowed to sell, it doesn't lose its kedusha, so the bikurim doesn't lose its kedusha. Rabbi Yehuda argues in the Tanna Kamma, and the bikurim is kodesh, and you can only give it to another kohen, and not only you can't give it to a regular kohen, but it has to be a chaver. A chaver is the pshat is that he's nisr and tumas and meises and all the other anogas of a chaver, and you can sell, because since it has kedusha, you can only give it to a chaver and beteva, not sell it to him, only as a matana. The chachamim say, "Neisen say la'anshe mishmar v'hem mechalkim b'nei mekotche migdosh." They can't even give it to another kohen. He has to give it to the anshe mishmar that avoid in the Beis Hamikdash. That even when the kohen that got it from the Yisrael, he has to divide the bikurim with the other anshe mishmar, and they divide amongst them kekotche hamikdash like all other kochim of the Beis Hamikdash. That even though with bikurim the kotche hamikdash, so their karbonos, you do avodah. Bikurim you don't do any avodah, it just brings it to the Beis Hamikdash. But since it's brought into the mikdash and it's brought to the mizbeach, so therefore it also gets this din, and that it can only be used to mechalik between the anshe migdosh. Slikul mesechtes bikurim. L'chaim, l'chaim. What? I can't hear you. Oh, man. So there, as we're talking about Yom Haledes, that especially after Tovshim Mem Ches, where the Rebbe made the takonos Yom Haledes that everybody should make a Farbrengen, etc., and especially when it comes to special occasions. So the Chura, if by the in the Yom it says different, and the Rebbe even by the Shnas HaShishim he spoke different. So what happened all at once? What changed? Like the Rebbe always used to say the Lashon Achshe Dora Bitmio. That what became better? Although I saw a Peladic thing from the Rebbe in, I think it was Tavshin Yud Beis, but the Rebbe said that as the generations go on, we get more koiches, more abilities, not in ruchnias. That once upon a time, there was no such thing as eating before davening. Because before davening, since the neshama is not, is b'med nechshavu al tikra b'meh l'bama, we don't have koiches to be mevar. When you eat something in Gashmi, is the only way you can eat it is if you are mevar in tzeitzes and utilize it properly for proper things. And before davening, we don't have those koiches. See, so the Rebbe said one of the things that changed, that now we have the koich. The Friedrich Rebbe instituted that we eat mezainis for davening. And he brought the piskim, better to essen for davening, better to eat in order to be able to daven than to daven in order to be able to eat. So nowadays we have koiches to be mevar. So in other words, that there is a certain, the nanas agabi anak, like a midget that's standing on the giant, or whatever it is, that the Rebbe always translated that when it looks like it's the Choshe, Helem Behester, so together with the Helem Behester, the Eibishter gives special koiches. I just want to bevarn. I hear an expression that drives me crazy, breakfast before davening. You're not allowed to eat a meal before davening. It's a total isser. And that when we eat mezainis, whatever for davening is, so that because we're weak, this is the generation, so everything has its eruah, so we allowed to eat mezainis, so to have strength, that we should daven with the full koiches, with the full kavanah. But to stam eat l'shem taiva, to eat l'shem a meal, or to eat for this, that's pashut not allowed, and don't make that mistake. Even though the Rebbe said that there's taka mile in our generation, there's certain koiches, but it's not, we don't change it in the Shulchan Aruch. The Torah is nitzchis. So it's eating for the sake of davening, so I should be able to have koich to daven. That one of the simonim of that is, I just want to mention, is there's a halach in Shulchan Aruch that after davening, you're not allowed to run away from davening. You have to walk slowly, because you just talk with the Eibishter, and you don't want to, and you don't run away from talking with the Eibishter. So it's often a din of Shulchan Aruch that after davening, you're not allowed to run, unless you're running to the Dvar Mitzvah. When a person goes and starts the day properly, and he eats, in order that he should be able to have kavanah in davening, and not rush through davening. And then he davens, Milo b'milo, upon him realizing that I'm talking with Melech Malch HaMelech, and the Eibishter gave me an opportunity to have yichidas with him. In Shemona Esrei, I'm talking to him. So how can I rush away? Imagine somebody who has yichidas by the Rebbe, and then after yichidas, he slams the door and runs. Doesn't make sense. You just had yichidas with Melech Malch HaMelech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbeinu Eibshter teaches the bracha at the Kodesh, V'Shemcha Kodesh, V'Gdoshim V'Chol Yom Yad Lucha Selo. Eibishter, you are holy, and your name is holy. Another, the Ashpor is holy. Gdoshim and holy, the angels, they can praise you, but you're not satisfied with that. You want us. Baruch Atah Hashem, Akel HaKodesh. You want Dafka Yidden should praise you. And this is the opportunity that the Eibishter gives you, and we're mamali his rots, and that everybody, that the Eibishter has a chviva more than all the Malachei Ashoris, more than everything, and he wants dafka our praises. And we have that opportunity to praise him. And we're coming from that praising. And by Shemona Esrei Ka'avdeka Memori, we're mamish b'yichidus with the Eibishter. So we have to, can't rush from that. When you rush, you're chas v'sholem, could be somebody davened well, but if afterwards he rushes, it's like he's throwing something away. Don't do that. It could be the walking slow after davening will accomplish more than the entire davening. But nefesh adam, because you realize that I'm a yid, I'm not kechol hagoyim, and that's what I have to do. I'm here for a certain tafkid. Al kaponim. So Achshador Bitmio, what is this inyan that the Rebbe all at once made the inyan of a Yom HaLedes, and a Yom HaLedes becomes that everybody has to make a Farbrengen, and everybody has to make, okay, there's also the inyan of Achlotas Tevis with Rabbim, and to Mechazish each other, but also Farbrengen and Dafka B'Simcha, that in Hayom Yom, and in the earlier years, the Rebbe didn't speak that way. So what happened? So the only way I understand it, and probably it is deeper and it goes deeper and deeper, like everything else that the Rebbe said, that we don't have a full hasoga. But Mekufya, the pshat is the same teichen, just like by Moed Ani. In Yonish Teres Achsidus, the Rebbe explained to Moed Ani that the Moed Ani is the pshat that a Yid has something that no tum in the world can touch. There's the pintel Yid, the etzem and neshama, the essence of the neshama, and that's expressed with Moed Ani, that right in the morning, the first thing that I do when I open my eyes is I recognize that I didn't open my eyes because I slept 8 hours. I opened my eyes because I started to be nishmasi. And why am I moide? Because I started to be nishmasi? Because it's nishmasi, the neshama v'yid. And like the Rebbe expresses in that sikha, if the Eibishter would give me a neshama of a goy rachman litzlan, or a neshama of a evet, and this is not stam edos. In Shulchan Aruch there's a halacha. It's brought down from the Arizal. Can a ger make shlei asani goy? Because he was born a goy. And the fact that he became a ger was not the Eibishter made that was his own bchira chavshis. So the maskana of the Poskim brought down in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch is that a ger can say Shaloi Asani Goy because these brachas of Shaloi Asani Ovi, all the brachas that we make in Birchas HaShachar are understood. Every morning, every morning Malbi Sharuvim, every morning, all the brachas that we're saying, these are things that are happening every single morning. But Shaloi Asani Goy, Shaloi Asani Ovet, Shaloi Asani Isha, I was born that way. So why do we make this bracha every single day? So the Arizal says the reason why we make these brachas every single day because when a person goes to sleep and his neshama goes up, so the neshama is judged. How did he utilize their capabilities? How well were they utilized? And it's judged. And according to the way he utilized it, that's how to deal with him. So sometimes a person, Rachmana litzlan, lo yaleinu, nobody's choshed over here, I hope, that the way he spent his day is he doesn't deserve a neshama of a yid anymore. He deserves a neshama of a goy, or he deserves a neshama of an evet, or he deserves a neshama of a isha, with the koiches that the isha has. And when I wake up and I feel my Yiddishkeit, and I feel my drive, and with my Moed Ani, so I know that I got back the neshama of what I was. And they gave me another opportunity to utilize it the way I'm supposed to utilize it. And that's why we make every day Shlei Asani Goy, Shlei Asani Oven, Shlei Asani Isha. And that's why a ger, for the same reason, can also say Shlei Asani Goy. Because the fact that he wakes up a Yid, even though his Yiddishkeit came through his own Pfir Chavshis, is because the Eibishter gave him the neshama of a Yid every morning. So that's one of the nekudas that the Rebbe speaks over there in the Yonish Teres Achsidus, and he said that Chassidus brings this about, that not only in the morning when I wake up from my sleep, but in everything that I'm doing is that the Yechidah Shebenefesh, through the Yechidah Shebetera, arouses the Yechidah Shebenefesh, it arouses the essence of the soul, that we should feel our basic connection with the Eibishter. It cannot be weakened, and it's there because that's the essence of every single Yid, and that's the inyan of Teres Achsidus. So it could be that this inyan of Yom Haledes, like this, Yom Haledes is takis somebody, like Taisa says in Eruvin, when Beisham and Beisil came to Maskana that Noach lo yid'adam shloi nivro meshenivro, after 2.5 years of arguing about it and debating about it, they came to that Maskana, it is better not to be born. Or more comfortable not to be born. And I don't have all these Haravanyas. So Taisa over there says that that's only talking about regular people. But when it's talking about a tzaddik, if somebody goes into B'derech HaTorah Mitzvah, so Ashrei Loi v'Ashrei Doirei. They're not talking about that. They're talking about regular people that Rachmana litzlan, that sometimes they fall, and sometimes they have ups and downs, v'chuli v'chuli. So it's Noach lo shloi nivro. But a tzaddik Ashrei Loi v'Ashrei Doirei. And that's a simple explanation why by tzaddikim we find there's an union of Yom HaLedes, because they're utilizing all the koiches that the Eibishter gave them the way they're supposed to utilize it. And therefore they bring the Oyer B'Olam and the Malad, the Rotzen of the Eibishter, and everything is fulfilled. And it's Asher Loi V'Asher Deirei. So a lot of times the Yetzer Hara comes to me nowadays. The door is so schwach. The door is so weak. The darkness is so great. And especially after Gimel Tammuz. That process, retroactively, you can say that process started in Tovshim Mem Ches. With the stalkers of the Rebbetzin. So over there, the Rebbe was Mechadish. Every Yid, no matter who he is, no matter what he is, no matter what he fell through it, his Yechidah Sheben Nefesh is Sholem. And he has a tafkid and a shlichus from the Eibishter himself. And his Yom HaLedes, he has to bring out that aspect, by realizing that when he has a Yom HaLedes and the Eibishter gives him the opportunity for a Yom HaLedes, that he has to arouse that within himself, just like the whole inyan of Yonush Teres Achsidus. No matter who he is, don't let the Yetzer Hara convince you in any way that your misdeeds or that describes you. No, you are ready to make a Yom HaLedes and make a Farbrengen a Yom HaLedes and be besimcha with Yom HaLedes because you have a tafkid and a shlichus from Melech Malchei Hamlochim HaKodesh Baruch Hu. And therefore every Yom HaLedes has to, even by every single person, no matter what his level is, he has that inyan of this Yom HaLedes. Not that like it was in previous generations, there's only tzaddikim, Yechidus Gula, etc., etc. Because we need that chizuk. For the same reason that Teres Achsidus was this gal in Arder, for the same reason the Rebbe made all these different takonas and all these different things, that to give us the boost, to give us that understanding, to give us the realization that no matter who I am, Havayin, like the Rebbe told little kids to say, Havayin, Nitzov Elov, Loichal Oretz Kvoidein, that is Maniach Al Yoinim, Tachteinim, he doesn't care about the Malachim, he doesn't care about the Shemayim, and Shmei HaShemayim, and Yachim HaChutz Al Am Yisrael, all of Befrat, from the entire Klal Yisrael, everybody has to look, I am the one that counts. And that Eibishter is Beichen love is a clay, he cares about what I'm doing about it. Yeah, it's easy to say the words. It's not easy to live with that because you have to be constant with the first sif in Shulchan Aruch Shemisa Havayim Negdi Summit. The first sif in Shulchan Aruch, and since it's sif in Shulchan Aruch, obviously there are the koiches, but we have to work on it. We have to work on it for the full. But everybody, this is the whole war today. The whole war today, the whole fight today is not, do we have koiches, don't we have koiches? Chassidus came and revealed the ultimate koiches that in previous generations didn't exist. Koiches in the previous, like the Rebbe said over there, Tavshin Beis, that we can even eat before davening if it's for the sake of davening. Then once that didn't exist. So Chassidus came and revealed the Etzem and Neshama and was Megale, gave everybody the ability to reveal that within himself. But he has to let it. Nobody took away Bechira Chavshis. Nobody took away free choice. Free choice is always there. So we have to know, why is there free choice? Because the Eibishter wants us to do it. He wants us to choose. He wants us to realize. So we have to become smart and not let like the Rebbe once wrote me in a letter, it's called Melech Zokim V'Ksil, an old fool. Do I have to convince you not to listen to an old fool? So we have to become smart. The old fool is the old fool. He doesn't change. He just wants to hold us back from realizing of the abilities that the Eibishter gave us. And every single Yid, no matter who he is, has those abilities. So the Eibishter should help them and take simcha with tuv lev. We should go forward and start fulfilling our mission over here. It's a mission from the Eibishter himself. And that the Rebbe brought it down so that we should be able to relate to it. And we should be able to realize that it's talking to me and not to somebody else and not to just the general public. It's talking to each individual separately. So let's hope that we must live. L'chaim, l'chaim. L'chaim, l'chaim. Amen. Shalom Aleichem. How are you?
How's it?
Everything, thank you.
May have Ezra Shana,
Thank you.
Gesund Pranasonachas at a minimum.
Amen.
Man, how are you? I'm visiting my father from Sydney, Australia. And can I sit down for a minute? And Shalom Aleichem. And I was sharing, I heard that it was your birthday. In Sydney, Australia, I was a rabbi for Schochet for 5.5 years. And then I moved over to be a rabbi for only the youth. And I would never be there. I cried. How do I have the willing to do this? One day, he pulled me off the street and he said, you should come. Go back to yeshiva. Because of that,
I'm good. Don't yell at me. I'm having flashbacks.
Wood said he should go back to yeshiva. Go back to yeshiva. And I went on shlichus. I got married to a girl from there. And now it can only be a small portion of revealing that because of you. You can't. You always have to have something that illuminates the diamond. Taking about 150 kids on camp that they go to public school. They go for Shabbos. Baruch atah Adonai Baruch Pri Hagafen.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You don't recognize me?
I didn't. I have to lift my head.
80 years old, you started eating soup?
No, go ahead. You can take it. Thank you.
Grandfather, he said he sent a letter.
Got the letter. I got it.
But he wants me to send another batch of warm regards.
Do me a favor. Tell your grandfather I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
What about, also, what if you're going afterwards to say a bracha to do your mitzvah? So you're running after Shabbos to do mitzvah. What then?
If you're doing a mitzvah, you're not. Or a mitzvah, you're not.
So if you run after davening, but you're going to eat fruits, you can say a bracha.
Don't fool yourself.
Schön, huh?
Maybe we should help. Still not there.
Understood.
Good boys. Nisan the head of all the months. And not only the head of all the months, but also the Chodesh Hashanah. And it's explained in all those memorim in different ways and different levels. But the Nakuda is that Rosh Hashanah is Rosh Hashanah, and that's the beginning of the year. So what's the meaning that Nisan is the head of all the months, and the L'Chodshei Hashanah, the month of the year, as stressed in the Pasuk? So the Rebbe brings from the Akedah that there's two ways that the Eibishter intermingles with the world. One way is the Anogas HaTeva, and that's when it was right from the beginning of when he created the world. And as far as Anogas HaTeva is concerned, so Tishrei is the Rosh Hashanah, it's the head, because Teva also is not something Chas v'Sholom that runs on its own, but the Eibishter runs it, and every single detail of that the Eibishter runs. And that's why in the winter months the main hashpoi is Anila Deidi v'Deidi. We have to arouse, we have to realize and come to realization that the Teva is not an entity for itself, and Teva itself is also something which is only run by the Eibishter, and we have to turn to the Eibishter in order that everything should go good. Nisan is the Hanoga Nisis, like it was by Yetzias Mitzrayim, that the Eibishter intermingles with the world in a way he's above nature. He performs miracles, like happened in Yetzias Mitzrayim, it happened by Kriyas Yamsuf, etc., all the way to Matan Torah, when Nigla Lehem Melech Malcham Lochim, there was Me'ein V'Asid Lovei. And these are two things that are where the Eibishter, how the Eibishter intermingles with the world. So now there's a question, according to the mitzvah of Chodesh Hazeh Lechem Rosh Chadoshim Rishnu Lechem L'Chodshei Hashanah, according to that Mahalach, which that is given Dafkum Shebocha B'Yisrael, that Yidden are connected by Yidden as Havaya Elokeinu, we're not limited to nature, and we can bring about the Anhogenisis. So Adar is the last month, and we, just like we have to go Mechayel Choyel, so the revelation of the month should also be going from one thing to the next thing, to the higher and higher. So in Adar, which is the last month of the cycle of the Anhogenisis, why is it a mundane month? No Yom Tovim. And even when there is a Yom Tov, and even if there is a Nes, like the Nes of Purim, so like it says that the Nes of Purim was totally enclosed in nature, within nature, and the limitations of nature were not broken. The Church should be the opposite way. Everything goes according to the climax, that at that time it's at its strongest. So Adar should be the month of the biggest Nis. And it didn't happen. Even when there were Nisim and Adar, it was Melubish and Teva. It was only within the garments of nature, not something that broke the limitations of nature. So the Rebbe explains that this is actually the ultimateness. That like this we think we're living in a time of darkness. Once upon a time was a time of revelation, was a time of Ur, and we're able to see miracles openly with our eyes. In a time of darkness when we can't see open miracles, so it's like sometimes we get the impression, even though we have the emunah and we know that the Eibishter runs everything, but it's all within the garments of nature, within the limitations of nature. And we can't expect miracles. Others reveals that even within the limitations of nature, the Eibishter runs everything and does things that go against nature. You don't see how it goes against nature. We didn't see what exactly happened, that when Mordechai happened to hear how they wanted to throw down the king, and that Mordechai revealed that. What no big spiel. And that we don't see that the king wasn't able to sleep, that something special is happening, and that this is happening from Shemayim, etc. And like there's many stichas of the Rebbe on Purim, how everything that Esther showed that even within nature, and even when we have to deal with natural phenomena, our strength is because of our connection with the Eibishter. Because even within nature, it's not only that the Eibishter is the balabas and he can stop everything, or he makes that when you plant the seed so that the seed should grow, not only that, but even when you plant the seed, the Eibishter can make the same Eibishter makes oil burn, he can make vinegar burn. And the Eibishter is not limited. Just like stories from the Baal Shem Tov that once there were no candles and the Baal Shem Tov wanted light, so he took icicles and made the icicles burn like candles. That, in other words, that even what do you need candles for? If you're making a miracle, bring light down from heaven. But we are limited with the limitations of nature. But even within the limitations of nature, it's the Eibishter that decides and decrees how everything is going to work. So what does that have to do with us? There's this false opinion that's going around. Mela, once upon a time, they were able to be big chassidim. They had big koiches, they had moichin, they had a leiv, they had a heart, they had intellect. They were able to daven for 8 hours in a row. They were able to concentrate deeply and be involved totally in ruchnias, relate to ruchnias, and ruchnias was something tangible for them. Okay. Nowadays, what's wanted from us? And we're living in a period of, like a lot of Brachim complain constantly, who are you to talk? You had the Chiddush with the Rebbe, you got letters from the Rebbe, you had a rois from the Rebbe, you were instructed by the Rebbe, and today the only thing that we have is you, and nothing. So that's, and it's a correct complaint from one side. From Giluyim, it's a correct complaint. It's a good complaint. And we taka have to complain. Because there has to be taka yearning for a time of light. And that we should want light. However, on the other hand, Purim is the ultimate miracle. And the same thing within Avodas Adam. The הקודש ברוך הוא בא בטרוניה ב'Yosef. The Eibishter right now, he doesn't want that we should necessarily, our avodah nowadays is not to be maybe to daven 8 hours. We don't have the koiches. Our avodah maybe nowadays is not to be able to to pull him like the tumim made, like the nesivas made, like the ksais made, etc. We don't have the abilities. We don't physically. We don't have the ability. We don't have the brains. We don't have the ability. But what the Eibishter wants is what you could do. And that's going to accomplish that just like oil will burn, an icicle will burn. Although I'm cold, I don't have the slavus, and I don't have the oven, I don't have the yira, etc. If I give myself over, so that's exactly what the Eibishter wants. Order is a month, it's a mundane month. But in order we can come to the biggest simcha of Adla Yoda. Why? Because that's what the month is about, to show it's not up to what we understand and what we feel, and I don't know how to differentiate between Or Haman and Baruch Mordechai. It looks all the same to me. It looks to me that Rahman al-Islam, that an education in college is just as important as Rahman al-Islam, as the Havdalah of Avdol has been Tumah l'Taira, as education in yeshiva, because I have to make a parnasa, I have to be a mensch, I have to do this, etc., etc., and they teach you that. Baruch Hashem, today, it's the Eibishter, because of this schwachkeit of a generation, the Eibishter is showing openly the craziness of what's going on in the world. You don't have to be a chacham. People that don't go with Torah, people that go with anything, so they lose their mind, even the most elementary, basic seichel. And that's all the college has to offer for you. But we have the Nisoyin. That we have the Nisoyin, and it's hard, it doesn't go easy. So we have to understand. I didn't create myself. And I didn't, and like the Rebbe said, I didn't choose to live in this generation. I didn't choose in anything. But if the Eibishter, if I have just basic belief in Hashgacha Pratis and basic belief that the Eibishter runs the world, in every single aspect, Sainan Hogetivi, Sainan Hogenisis, the Eibishter has a reason. and he put me where he put me, that like the Lashon Yem Yem and in other places, is because where I am over there, I have something that the surrounding that I find myself in is waiting from 6 days of creation, that I should do in this place and in this day and in this time what I can do and therefore elevate and bring it to its ultimate purpose. Do we understand it? To try to understand this is, first of all, have to be God, because he's the one that made the plan. And we can't. The Eibishter has his, in simple words, let me put it this way. It's today's Shurim and Tanya. The Eibishter has a world of Atzilus, a godly world. The Eibishter has a world of Afanim and Chayes HaKodesh and all kinds of angels and all kinds of holy things and terrific things. In the Parsha, the Eibishter had gold, silver, and everything. The Eibishter to make the Oren, to make the Mizbeach, to make the Mizbeach HaPnimi. What did the Eibishter say? It's Choviv Lai Mekulam. What did the Eibishter choose? We had in Chitas. The Maris HaTzovis, which helps the Yetzer Hara. That when the women brought that to the base of Mikdash, that's what the Eibishter said. Over there, have the Nachas Ruach. The Eibishter is Matniach Al Yoinim V'Tachtoinim, and he doesn't. And what he wants is me, not me. Everybody has to say to himself, me. With all the kindness that I have against myself, and with all the kindness and the hardships that I have against myself, and with all the failures that I might have passed through, the Eibishter wants me. Why? For what? What does he see in that? He has Hatzilus, he has Bria, he has Yetzirah, he has all the spirituality. He wants, yes, there is, if somebody has the ability, and there's a terrific thing with Talmud Torah Keneget Kulam, and there's the Hamshochas Elikus Limud HaTorah, it's a Yichud Shendik Mosa Names the Klal. But somehow, the little boy, the farm boy that was raised and didn't know anything better, and he screamed out, Kukuriku, he was able to accomplish something that the Baal Shem Tov wasn't able to accomplish. Because over here is something that was revealed, the Etzem and Neshama of a Yid, how I also want to have a connection with you. And how you bring out that I also want to have a connection with you. I have a hardship. I don't understand this Gemara like the next Bocher. I can't daven with the same feeling. But I also want to daven. I also want to learn. And I can't do more than what I can do. And when I do what I could do, that's what the Eibishter has in Nachas Ruach. And that can accomplish sometimes even more than the Baal Shem Tov accomplished. Because that's giving yourself over to the Ratzon of the Eibishter. Just like Adar is the highest month of the year, although there is no Gelulim, it's a mundane month. And even when there was a Ness of Purim, it's Lubish and Teva. But Dafka over there comes out the ultimate Gili of Atzma Sein Sof Baruch Hu, that he doesn't have any limitation. And that our understanding of what the Eibishter wants and how he wants and why he created me has nothing to do with my seichel or my feeling, because I can't differentiate. I don't know the difference between Or Haman and Baruch Mordechai. I don't know, as far as my seichel is concerned. But one thing is happening, like the Rebbe says in the Sikha, my etzem and neshama screams Or Haman and Baruch Mordechai. So although my seichel doesn't understand it, my heart doesn't feel it, there's no tangible thing what I'm relating to, but that's the Metzias. That's the generation that we're living in. Over here you see in front of yourself that there's an 80-year-old buck, and that somehow the Rebbe for some reason put this buck, you have to run a yeshiva, you have to make a Migdal Ur. What can I do? What capabilities do I have? But the Rebbe said that's what you got to do. You try a little bit here, a little bit there, and the trying is also a bluff. Should have tried harder, should have worked harder. But that's the Metzias. It's not up to our seichel, it's not from my understanding. It's something that we have this merit that somehow we have a shlichus that the Rebbe revealed over here in this world of what we have to try to accomplish. And whatever you can accomplish, whatever you do, the Eibishter should help. There shouldn't be any physical limitations. And the Rebbe, one of the things that the Rebbe repeats in the Farbrengen of Shnas HaShmonim over and over again, I am appealing to you, Bachar. He says, physically by me, the Rebbe repeated many times, physically by me, I'm weaker. I don't have the same koiches. And how can the Gvuras come to be fulfilled? Man darf sich verbinden mit the Junge. And with the Tzibur, that they have the koiches of the Nurim. So I'm pleading with you, please help me, because I still want to accomplish something. Help me that we should be able to be attached and work together and accomplish the shlichus that we have over here in this world. And so although Takeb, often Goliv, for what and with what, and we don't know, but we're here, and like the Rebbe said, by the fact that we're here, that is the biggest proof that there's something that Eibishter wants from each one of us. And that's what the Eibishter wants from each one of us. It's nachas ruach lefonai shomarti v'naseh ritzoni. We got to get going. L'chaim, l'chaim. Okay, there's one thing. Thank you. There's one thing. There's one thing that somehow, it's been many years, I know about it, I repeat it, I just never manage it. In this I really need your help. I told you Yechidus already many times. And it's time to make a cheshbon nefesh. I was once in Yechidus by the Rebbe, and I wrote the settle with everything that what you feel that you have to ask for in Gashmias and in Ruchnias. And then after the Rebbe answered the whole settle, so the Rebbe said, is there anything else you want to ask? Now, you weren't in Yechidus, maybe you don't know, but the time you went to Yechidus, before you went to Yechidus, you made a cheshbon nefesh, you went to the mikveh, you said Tilim, you thought yourself through, you're going into Yechidus. And you write it settled, you really think, what is it that... And here I wrote it settled. And the Rebbe said, is there anything else you want to ask? And my mind started racing. What did I leave out? And I couldn't come up with anything. And then the Rebbe asked a second time, is there anything else you want to ask? And I went crazy. What did I leave out? What am I missing? And the Rebbe then asked a third time, is there anything else you want to ask? Because I want to finish with your things before I speak about my things. My inyonim. Your inyonim before I speak about my inyonim. And over here, I went literally... Well, I so betuntum, and I started crying, literally in front of the Rebbe. And I said, Rebbe, help me to tshuva. I couldn't think of anything else. So the Rebbe looked at me and said, looks like you don't want to do tshuva metoich simcha. Because also tshuva needs simcha. Okay, then there was a discussion later. I mean, there's a mimer, there's a sikha, there's letters. It explains tshuva metoich simcha. What does that mean? For me, it was like a new concept. But I'm still trying, and this is what the in Yechidus. And then I also had a letter from the Rebbe. The cause of that letter was I was spoiled by the Rebbe. The Rebbe spoiled me. Usually I used to get answers to all my letters, all my questions. after I got married, I didn't, it wasn't the first right away, but a little while after I got married, I didn't get an answer. 1 letter, no answer. 2 letters, no answer. 6 letters, no answer. 7 letters, no answer. So what's happening over here? So I made a cheshbon hanefesh. Why am I not getting an answer? It must be my fault. So I came to a very simple conclusion. You got so many answers. You got so many letters. How many letters and answers are you living with in your daily life? How many do you live with? Why you want to hear the Rebbe to give of his holy time, of his precious time? And so you're getting the letter, it's very nice, you're putting it in the bookcase or whatever it is, and how many answers are you living with? So I made a achlota. I got to go through all the letters again, write down the heroes, write down in Bekitzer what exactly is the hero, and to read it from time to time. That way, remember, maybe I'll live with it a little bit better. And this itself I wrote to the Rebbe also. And I started going through the letters, and I took a notebook and started writing all the heroes. And 10 days later, I got a thick package of 7 letters from the Rebbe in the same dose. All the letters that he didn't answer. Together with an answer for the latest thing. And the answer that was Hanukkah time, the answer over there was, what I told you before. There is a Melech Zokim Exil. An old foolish king. That the first thing that he tries to hold you back from because you need it so much is Simcha. And do I have to convince you not to listen to an old fool? So I had it in Yechidus, and I had it in the letter. And I'll be honest with you, it's one of the things which is very hard for me. And I just wasn't toilet enough. And that's one of the things I have to work on, and I need your help. Simcha Shel Mitzvah. It says you can't fulfill your tafkid if you don't have it. So
He's going to have to live another 50 years.
I need your help to come to a little bit of simcha finally. So,
tshuva they made.
Shliach from my father.
Thank you.
Mazel tov Yarich Kamal Am Lachzer.
Amen.
And then
Please.
Ezra.
Tell him I give him all the girls also. Should be Mamshir. All the story, Baruch Hashem.
There's a new one on its way in a few minutes. It'll still be for Yom Tov. Be'ez Hashem. Amen. Chen L'man. Mazel tov, Mazel tov.
Sometime first do it.
The brother said, there should be an air star again. The brother said, the police should be an air star.
Ah. Fine. L'chaim. One is, what's that? Who is that? Wait, crazy?
Okay,
You're
too much.
silly. At your age, I drank a bottle of Moscow. Huh?
He said he doesn't drive drunk, he might spill something.
Okay, forgive me. The open question that everybody knows, all the Meforshim speak about, we know in the Torah there's not one extra word. And you have whole Masechtas, like Masechtas Gittim, Masechtas Gedushin, Masechtas Nedorim, that are based on a few words in Torah Shebiksav. Ribi Dinim. And over here, the Torah of Truma, Tetzaveh, V'Yaakov, Bekudei, Pasuk after Pasuk, and the words of the Ramban, the Torah seems to repeat itself more than 5 times. Repeating the same thing. Could have just said with Kitzer that the Bnei Yisrael made the Mishkan the way the Eibishter wanted to be done and finished. And the Torah repeats it over and over and over again at every single shlav. At every single new step, there was the Tzivui and Truma Tetzaveh, and part of Kisisa, and then at the beginning of Vayakil, and then they gathered the materials with which they're going to build, but for building everything, and then when they started building, it repeats again, and then when they built and they put together, it repeats again. And then when they brought it before Moshe Rabbeinu, again repeats. Constant repetitions. So what's explained in the Sichos and other places is that the Mishkan in Parshas Truma Tetzaveh is a spiritual Mishkan.
that the Mishkan of the Mata is Lamaila, and over there the Eibishter was talking the way it is from Tzad the Eibishter, and Moshe Rabbeinu was the Mekabel, the way he's Mekabel from the Eibishter. So that's a total spiritual Mishkan. In Parshas V'Yakov Kudei starts the physical Mishkan. In the physical Mishkan, so there is the way Moshe Rabbeinu gives it over to Bnei Yisrael, which is it's a lower level than the way Eibishter gives it to Moshe Rabbeinu. And then the way Betzalel, Noelov start building it. And then the way they bring it in front of Moshe Rabbeinu. It's next level, next level, next level. So if we just think with the simple understanding, the way our limited understanding goes, which Mishkan should be the highest Mishkan? Which is the holiest Mishkan? The one from Tumat Tetzaveh. Over there it's in the world of the Eibishter, in the world of Moshe Rabbeinu, the way the Eibishter speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu, where there's no limitations whatsoever. In whatever limitations that Moshe Rabbeinu had, which are only limitations of Moshe Rabbeinu that are for us it's not limitation. Then when Moshe Rabbeinu tells the Bnei Yisrael, so it's already the Bnei Yisrael involved. It's on a lower level. Then the way Betzalel builds it, he's already a third level, so it's again a lower level. And then they finally put it together and they bring it to Moshe Rabbeinu, it's put together. Where was the tafkid and the purpose of the whole Mishkan fulfilled? That the whole purpose of the Mishkan was to have Hashrois, Hashchina, the words of the Ramban, over here, down over here in this world. Where was that fulfilled? In the lowest Mishkan. Not in Trumat Tetzaveh. That was in the Sinas Koyach. That gave the ability. That was the original Heroah. Not even the way Moshe Rabbeinu gave it over to Bnei Yisrael. Over there you had the Teres HaMishkan, etc., and you have in a very high level, in its purest form, from a human perspective. But until it was actually built with the physical, limited materials down over here and put together by physical, limited human beings, although Taka in their Darga, that's when you had a Mishkan that was able to accomplish what the total purpose of the Mishkan is. Why? Because the whole purpose of the Mishkan is to show not that the Eibishter can make an edifice, or the Eibishter wants an edifice, or the Eibishter has an edifice, or the Eibishter is wherever he is. The whole purpose of the Mishkan is to show that even in Olam Hazeh, HaTachten, there could be Hashrois, Hashchina, and we're not separated from the highest levels of godliness, even down over here. Which, applicable to us. A lot of times I hear, Meile, Rishonim Kamalachim. Okay, they could accomplish. Meile, the Achreinim that are Bnei Adam, a mensch, he's still a mensch, he still can accomplish. But when you become a chamor, maybe a chamor that's pure, like a chamor Shar Pinchas ben Yoyer, maybe still do something. Chaymer is Melashon Chaymer. The Chaymer is over there, that seems to be the whole Metzias. But if it's a Pinchas ben Yoyer, there's a Hagosha. What's pure, what's not pure. So okay, then he still can accomplish. But if it's not a Chaymer Shar Pinchas ben Yoyer, and the only thing that is dominant is the Chamor, the Chaymer, what can be accomplished? And now that we're living in previous generations, that was generations of light. Previous generations that were generations of... What's our generation? And the Gemara and Saita already go through. Kol Yom, the negative is worse than the previous day. The Gemara already says it. But there is a word over there that by every negative aspect, every negative level, it says, Einon lishoin el alavinu shebashamayim. There's nobody you can lean on except for the Eibishter. Seemingly, it sounds like a good realization, a true realization. But there's a word in Chassidish Sforim that Ein Lanu L'Shoyin El Avinu Shebashamayim is one of the klolos of Ikvus de Mashiach. Just to trust in the Eibishter and go to sleep or go to bed and not realize that the Eibishter is waiting for me and what I'm supposed to be doing, what am I doing about the situation, that's also from the darkness of Ikvus de Mashiach. It's like saying, the Eibishter is a mechadish v'tuvah v'chol yom tomid ma'aseh b'reishis, and it gives life and sustenance and a constant stream of ability v'chuli every single day and every single moment v'chuli v'chuli. But now it looks like chas v'sholem. What for? What for? I can go ahead and accomplish what the previous generations didn't accomplish. Like I hear different words and different complaints. If it didn't happen till Gimel Tammuz, how's it going to happen now? If it didn't happen by the Rishonim Kemalachim, how's it going to happen now? And here there's different things. And basically, that is the biggest kfirah possible. To come and ask questions, if Mashiach didn't come till now, so where's Mashiach going to come? Impossible. So might as well give up. When we had the avodah of all the previous generations, that we don't even have an understanding of what they were like, and they didn't do it, and they didn't accomplish it. The previous chassidim. So, where are we going to accomplish? And what can we do that they didn't do? Like somebody asked me once. Somebody asked me a stupid concept. He said, he said that Torah was already learned throughout all the generations. Davening was already davened. You had the Chassidim or Rishonim, they daven for 9 hours a day. You had the Terassim Nosim that nowadays, the real Terassim Nosim does not exist, that they were potter from mitzvahs and everything. Why? Because they were on the level of Terassim Nosim. So there was real limit Torah, real davening, real mitzvahs, and like the Gemara tells in Tainis and other places, of all the Gdei Yisrael, Chuli, the Noim and Amaroi. So if they didn't accomplish it, what's my davening? What's my learning? What's my this? When you try to compare the Mishkan of Truma and Tetzaveh to the Mishkan that was finally in the end of Parshas Pekudei, you're talking about, in the words of the Ramban, at least 5 levels down. And we're talking about major levels. But you taking the worlds, when you're trying to compare Olam HaTzilus to Olam HaSiyah, the highest spiritual worlds, to this physical, not the spiritual world of Asiyah, the physical world of Asiyah. There's Loshen Helem and Tachlis, but you don't see anything. So what can we do and what accomplishment can there be there that is not accomplished up above? We say in Birchas Kriyashma, we talk about Avodah, Bafanim, B'chayis HaKodesh. There's one thing that we should learn to them, to compare ourselves, just a sidebar, to compare ourselves to their Avodah, to their Ava, to their yearning, to their screaming, and to their Kodesh. Of course we can't. Self-understood. But there's one thing that we should be learning from them. The difference between the Avodah of the Chayis HaKodesh and the Efanim and the Srofim is min hakotzer lakotzer. And usually somebody is involved in a certain Avodah and you're a Malach, so you're involved in that Avodah in totality. And you're doing it in the most perfect way. And like the Rebbe explains, we're coming to the Imei Asfira, that by the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, there was Leino Gukovit Zeh B'Zeh. So he asked, how is it possible that they're called Talmidei Rabbi Akiva from one side, and what's Rabbi Akiva known for? That's what Rabbi Akiva is known for. How is it possible by the medium of Rabbi Akiva that there shouldn't be no Koved Zeh? So the Rebbe says he understands. Because they were Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, and they were so great, and everything that they did in the most perfect way possible. And in Kedusha, every level, every way that I'm going has an advantage over the other way. In Kedusha, everything has an advantage. We need everything, but Ava has an advantage over Yira, because you're doing with much more chayas. Yira has an advantage over Ava because you're more bittul, etc. And there's as many neshamas as there are, ain't there the same shamas? It's different avodas. And each one, in whatever avodah he was involved in totality. He did it in the most perfect way he could do it. And he wanted to be Mekayim what he heard from his Rebbe. So therefore, he saw somebody else, the other student was dealing out of Yira, and he is dealing out of Ava. And he saw the advantage of Ava over Yira, so he wanted the other student to be able to have the advantage of Ava. So he tried to be mashpia on the other student also. Here, try Ava. The student that was involved in Yira, he was Talmid Rabbi Akiva, was totally involved in that. So he felt the advantage of Yira over Ava, so he wasn't listening. And he tried to be mashpia on the other one, his derech avodah of Yira. So this caused that each one thought about the other one, he's missing something, he's lacking something. That brought the loy nogu kovetz ever. Now, as much as it is by Talmidei Rabbi Akiva, by Malachim it's much higher. You have the Efanim, you have the Chayes HaKodesh, and you have the Srofim, etc., etc. But then they say every day in Birchas Kriyashma, V'noisin Reshus Zeh Lezeh. Each Malach gives permission to the other Malach. I have my way avodah, but I know you have your way avodah. And they give Reshus, and Kulam B'yachad, we all together, we're going to say the Kodesh, Kodesh, and together we're going to say each one in his way, in his level, etc. So that's something that we can go ahead and learn. But Al Kaponim, so there is the Malachim, there is the Efanim, there is the Chayes HaKodesh, there is everything. So, and in the generations, it's the same thing. The previous generations are all Malachim. So a lot of times the bracha comes along, I just remind myself, I did the same thing. When I was even younger than you, I wrote to the Rebbe that what I have to learn for. I can never be a Ksais, I can never be an Alter Rebbe, I can never write a Shaf Shmaitzer. So what's the purpose of my learning? I can't be a Meshul Migra. So what's the purpose? Even if I learn and I try my best, I won't come close to it. So the Rebbe wrote back, I read this, everybody knows this already. So the Rebbe wrote back and said, I just want you to make a comparison. It's very important to stress this. Besides that question that I asked the Rebbe, I also, when I wrote that letter, it was Taka Purim time, close to my birthday. And I was a little bit after Mashke. So I gave it my all. I made a total vidui in the letter. And I said, what should I do? I have this Yetzirah, this Nisoyin, this failure, that failure. What should I do about it? So, and besides, I had this general question. What's the purpose of my learning? Why should I learn? For what? What's going to become of me even if I try my best? So all the questions I wrote about Ruchnias, I thought those were the really important questions. The Rebbe almost ignored. The Rebbe wrote, I'm sure you have a Tanya, and in Tanya addresses all these questions. And I'm sure you have a Tanya with a Mafteach, that the Mafteach will make it easier to find where he addresses these questions. That's dismissed. Look it up, work on it yourself. Then there were 3 paragraphs. 3 paragraphs that Rebbe addressed this question. They said, why should I learn? I can't be they wrote different nusach. I don't remember the nusach now that I wrote, whatever. But the teichem was, I can't be Mishulamiga, I can't be Shaf Shmaitz, I can't be the Alter Rebbe, I can't be this, I can't be that, whatever. So what should I learn for? So the Rebbe said, es wundert sich mir. In other words, the Rebbe was wondering, how can you have a question like that? Is the purpose for a person's creation that he should become bigger, or should become the best, or should become the highest. The purpose of a person's creation is, like the Mishnah says, "Ani nevresi l'shamish es koini." The Eibishter has a purpose for every single yid. And if the Eibishter wants one person to be a lamdan, he'll give him that capability. Wants another person to be about tzedakah, he'll give him that capability. He wants a third person to be an asken, he'll give him that capability. So there is no. The point is that you're not like this, you're not like that. The Eibishter gives capability according to your purpose over here in this world, that you're able to fulfill it. Now, Yedei Tzaddik Nefesh Behemtoi. Tzaddik knows everything that's going on. So he knew if he would stop over there, he already answered the question. If he would stop over there, I would come to a fatal mistake. Because of my laziness, I would come to a conclusion. Okay, I can't be the Shav Shmaitza, I can't be the Alter Rebbe, I can't be this. So learning is not for me. So I'll become an asken, I'll become a businessman, or whatever it is. So the Rebbe added, self-understood that you have to work and you'll excel and you'll have the koiches to excel in whatever the Eibishter created you for and whatever purpose you're doing over here in this world. That's only talking about hadofa v'zirus, what you're going to excel in. But every single Jew, no matter who and what his purpose is commanded in the entire Torah. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam. That's how he ended the letter. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam. So don't try to use my words now as an excuse to stop learning. That you're going to say that since I can't excel, so therefore everybody. And like in the parak of Tanya, they were learning Chitas in the end of the parak. He brings over there, what brings Ashrois Hashchina? What brings that I should feel close to the Eibishter, that I should be able to feel the Eibishter's closest to me and my closest to him? That's only limited Torah. Because that brings about Korov Hashem lekoyrov v'chol asher yikru be'emes. The Eibishter is close to all those kolim, and v'chol asher yikru be'emes ve'ein emes el Torah. And he brings the mashal of the Navi that if somebody calls out to the Eibishter, I want to feel your closeness. Please let me feel your closeness. But he's not learning, so it's like somebody that's standing around rivers of water, and he screams out, Eibishter, I'm thirsty! I'm thirsty! The Eibishter just gave you water. You have all the water around you that you want. Haikal samalechu l'mayim. So if you're not learning, you're calling out to Eibishter, why don't I feel your closeness? Why don't I feel my connection with you? Make a cheshbon nefesh. This is the end of right now we're learning Perek Lamed Zayin, where this thing is brought. Al Kapani, getting back to what we started. Sorry I sidetracked. That the V'yakel Pkudei, where was the Ashrei Shechina? Where was the ultimate purpose? Davke, in comparatively speaking, in the lowest Mishkan. Yeah, we speak about the Malachim. Yeah, we speak about their greatness and their holiness and their yuchad, to be me'or and realize what's going on a little bit in the spiritual world, and that we should have some kind of a insight and some kind of a draw and some kind of a thirst. But ultimately, what does David want? He wants Harav. As much as there is a big difference. Where was the Ashrois Hashchina? Dafke in the lowest Mishkan, in the last one of Parshas Pekudei. And that's what the Eibishter wants to teach us. Not in the higher ones, not the ones that were in the world of Moshe Rabbeinu, in the world of the Eibishter. In that realm, it's not trying to say the world of the Eibishter, everything is the Eibishter world, but in the realm of where the Eibishter speaks to Moshe. So the Gabi de Tainis that I heard, I heard a Bocher, we have to be believed that Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach didn't come to the Alter Rebbe. Mashiach didn't come with the Deris Rishonim. Mashiach didn't come with the Deris Achronim. Mashiach didn't come by the big Chassidim, by the Baal Shem Tov, the Talmid, by the Maggid, the Talmid. Mashiach didn't come before Gimel Tammuz. And there was nobody that wanted Mashiach as much as the Rebbe. And there was nobody that spoke so much about Mashiach and how we need the Gula as much as the Rebbe. So what can I accomplish? What can I do that they didn't do? What can I do and bring about a Gila Lakus that the Efanim, the Chayis HaKodesh didn't bring about? What's my avodah for? That I don't know why, and I don't know how, and I don't know with what, and with what koiches. For some odd reason, we can't understand the Eibishter's Rotzen the way it is. But we know what the Rotzen is because it says so in the Torah. And for some odd reason, he says that when us, with our level, with our limited level, with our limited abilities, scream, Eibishter, I can't anymore, I want Mashiach now. Eibishter, I want this Galus Malchusah. Eibishter, I want the end of this Yetzer Hara. There is a reason. Havaya Nitzavolov. The Eibishter is Mechadish B'tu B'choyim Tomit Ma'aseh Bereishis. I'm here right now, not because I was here yesterday or because I was born 80 years ago. I'm here right now because the Eibishter is making me right now. And everybody can say that. And that means that right now the Eibishter has some kind of a purpose and want for me of what I can accomplish. And although I don't, when I was in the 20s, I was able to beat up a whole block of Shkotzim. Today I can't do it. When I was in the, I don't have those koiches. When I was younger, I was able to sit 3 nights or 4 nights, whatever it is, sleep a half hour in the day and keep going and try to learn a sugya of Mehei Cholavat Kola. I don't have the koiches. So I can say to myself, you finished, your life is over. Your life is over. You can't beat up Shkotzim anymore, you can't learn the sugyas anymore, you can't do the dos. I mean, even with Brachim, I was able to chase Brachim around the block until I caught them when they weren't going where they were supposed to go. I don't have keiches, I can hardly walk. So what? It's not the pshat, I'm talking theory, I'm talking about things that happen. So I'm going to say to myself, okay, like the Rebbe said, time to, got to give up your job. I'm not doing that's like true. I'm not doing the job that I'm supposed to. Should work harder. But the Gashmi is you don't have the koiches. So what is the purpose? But all you need is a little. Am I going to say in the morning Shlo Yisani Goy? Am I going to say Moed Ani in the morning? Am I going to try to daven? I'm going to try to say to the Eibishter, I want to do some kind of a nachas ruach. And the Eibishter is creating me right now. So we got to get going. And when the going goes rough, the tough get... What?
Tough gets going.
I don't remember what that is.
The going gets tough, the tough gets going.
The going gets tough, the tough get going. Okay, fine. L'chaim, l'chaim. One second. Chevra, each one of you should know. Each one of you has to know. It's each one of you that the Rebbe is counting on. And it's each one of you that everything is dependent on. And that's how you have to look at yourself, and that's the way you have to go about what you could do and what you could accomplish. I'm not trying to excuse myself. It's not, and you can demand from me also. Why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that? But don't give up on yourself. The best years, I'm telling you. Wherever you are, I was. You were never where I am. So I'm just telling you from experience. Utilize it. L'chaim, l'chaim. Sorry I didn't answer every
I heard everything. I loved everything you were saying. Very, very good. It should lead us all the way till Mashiach comes. L'chaim, l'chaim. Gesundheit, Freiheit, Nachas from all the kinder.
Amen.
And we are your children. L'chaim. L'chaim.
Thank you.
To davening slow.
What?
To davening slow.
Very good. Well,
I try.
Where
How many kids came tonight?
25. I usually come to your shoe, we usually have Chabad the locker. So we postponed it this week. Happy birthday, Rafa Schochet.
You too.
Thank you. Amen. I listened to your speech live online.
Nice.
The introduction. For the second week in his life.
For the good things that we have.
I brought you a guest from Israel. A guest from Israel. Only your internal factors you can bring down. Nobody else can do it. Start being Yaakov. Don't be ashamed of it. In the business as well, in the world as well. Be the guy. Yaakov. God bless you. Our broadcast has nothing to do with checks. Come on, American. British. What are they? That's it.
everything we
March
do.
told me to tell you happy birthday. He's getting married. Isaac March, remember him? His wedding's in a week and a half. He told me to tell you happy birthday.
Mazel tov. Tell him mazel tov.
Adal.
This is for you. This is based upon what the Rebbe had to my wife. So I looked, and this is not a big thing that maybe in some places. And it's the gear, can't gezeigt, not what's going on at the store right now. They used to, before, not a good design. So, didn't cost much. Yeah. New one? The new print? It's going to the stores only tomorrow because they don't want to go for sale before it happens. New print? Huh? New print? New print. What's the one surface? Huh? What's the surface? No surface. So it's out of print. On the left, the main thing is the left.
This is the Chag of Gula when we all came out of jail tonight. On your birthday, we were all Farbrengen and Kunin wanted to sing out, teach us a song for Yudal Nissen. Just wanted to know, whenever I think of your birthday, it's my Chag of Gula, Shvei Chamos. Remember you were singing it? You were singing it. It's a peaceful, loving song. Thanks, nice. It's one of your better days being a Rosh in this yeshiva. Anyway, your birthday is always Chag of Gula.
As well. Yeah, I already got one right now. Everybody has it. 86 is...
I know, but that time was 82. You can't take it. You have to add one. Cover. So I think it's 86. You want one more?
Not allowed to.
Oh, it wasn't alone. He's giving a tip. It's for a job. He's giving a tip. He's got a cover. Pulse. When she does some pulse, it's a grosh. Grosh is the picture of the pulse. Oh, 89. Not your cuff.
have a Shnas of Bracha and Atzlacha in all aspects. Chaim. I said this a few times, and for some of you it might be a repetition, but I think it's something important to chazer over. We know the Sikha from the Rebbe of Schochet Nissen. Where the Rebbe said that everything is lehevel l'rik because Mashiach is not here. Which is a very, very strong, extreme expression. Very extreme expression, lehevel l'rik. We know the Gemara says, and it's brought down, the person is not supposed to be toyeh al rishonos because he loses he breaks everything up. How can you say Mashiach is not here, but everything, all the sichas, and all the letters, and all the yechidesen, and all the Torah, and the thousands and tens of thousands of Balei Tshuva, and everything else that was accomplished? How can you say everything is lehevel because Mashiach is not here? Every word of Torah that we learn is a davar nitzchi. Every mitzvah or every yid that we bring back to Torah mitzvahs is a davar nitzchi. It's something connected with the Ratzon of Hashem. Every mitzvah that we do is something connected with the Ratzon of Hashem. So how is it possible that the Rebbe should have such an expression that everything is lehevel l'rik because Mashiach is not here? Okay, so Mashiach is not here. It's a terrible thing that Mashiach is not here and we're still in Golus. And like we saw many times how the Rebbe was literally crying, the Shchinte Begalusa, etc. So it's a tragedy, churban, but we're here to Mal the Ratzon Hashem, and who was Mal the Ratzon Hashem more than all the Balchuvas that he made, all the Sichas that he made, all the Avos Yisrael that he had, all the Ma'asim Tovim that he did. How is it possible to say Hevel Arik? And it really bothered me until I learned again Tanya Perek Lamed Hey. In Tanya Perek Lamed Hey, the Alter Rebbe wants to be Menachem the Beinanim. That a Beinani of Tanya is somebody that Beinani of Tanya is, like you all know, is somebody that has a Yetzer Hara, has an Nisayon, but he always overcomes the Nisayon. And he doesn't have one Aveira, not Machshava, not B'dibur Ma'aseh. That's a Beinani of Tanya. So the Alter Rebbe says that the Beinani of Tanya is also, with all his levels, in other words, the Beinani of Tanya is even higher than what the world understands to be a tzaddik. It's a terrific madrega. What the Beinani is, he used an expression, the Gabi the Beinani, that since he can only overcome the Yetzer Hara, overcome the Nefesh HaBahamis, when it comes to Machshava, Dibra, Maisa, in action, but the Mahus of the Nefesh HaBahamis he can't change, and Nefesh HaBahamis remains with its strength. So the whole Avodah is like Lirik, similar expression, like Hevel Lirik, he used only over there Lirik. The whole Avodah of the Beinani is only Lirik because he wasn't able to transform the Nefesh HaBahamis like a tzaddik transforms it. So it's not understood. This comes after the Alter Rebbe already explained in the Chavs, after he explained that Shnei Minei Nachas Ruach Lefonav. Vaseli Matamim, there's Shnei Minei, two types of Nachas Ruach in front of the Eibishter. One Nachas Ruach is the Avodah of Tzadikim, of his Hapcha, that they transformed the Yetzer Hara to Yetzer Tov, Shnei Yitzirecha. And the other Nachas Ruach is Iskafio, the Avodah of the Beinani. That's a Nachas Ruach Lefon of Yisbarach. So they hear their Avodah is, and they did it. They're in a level that lay over Aver Miyamav. In other words, he made a Nachas Ruach in front of the Eibishter. That's what the Eibishter wanted, this type of a Nachas Ruach. He's not satisfied with the Nachas Ruach just from the Avodah of Tzadikim. He wants a Nachas Ruach of Iskafio, to show that even where there is bad, where there is darkness, it does not have any shlita, and you can overcome it. It can't rule. That a person comes a lot of times and complains, I have such a Yetzer Hara, I have such a Seinis, I have such things, etc., etc. So therefore, what do you want for my life? No. The Eibishter created a Beinani that even where there is a Yetzer Hara and a Nisayon, which is a Nisayon for a Beinani, they call a Godel Mechaver Yitzer Godel Memenu. For a Nisayon for a Beinani, it can't just be a little Yetzer Hara. It has to be a strong Nisayon in order for it to be a Nisayon that it has to overcome. But that's the Nachas Ruach that the Eibishter has, the Iskafia. So how can the Alter Rebbe over here in Perek Lamed Hey go ahead and say that that because he's not holding by his hapcha, so therefore it looks like it's lyric. How can he say such an expression? So I found that the Rebbe asked this question. And the Rebbe says, for the nachas ruach of Iskafia, the Eibishter did not have to make the nefesh elokis be mislabish in the nefesh abahamis with the full islapshus. And that whatever the nefesh abahamis does automatically has an effect on the nefesh elokis. The Eibishter could have created mamash shnei melochim, two yours, that everybody, every single yid is a split personality. He has one personality of nefesh elokis, another personality of nefesh abahamis, and the nefesh elokis will overcome the nefesh abahamis. Why does it have to be a slapshus that the nefesh elokis is also in the same place where the nefesh abahamis finds itself? That he's totally enclosed in that. Why do you need that slapshus for? The slapshus is lyric. You know, if just for the nachas ruach of Iskafia, the Eibishter could make shnei melochim, but shnei melochim not where one is intertwined with the other, and where automatically the movement of one automatically affects the other, etc., and that he has to constantly fight and doesn't have menuchas hanefesh. When I daven, I should be in a world of davening. When I learn, I should be in a world of learning. When I'm Isaac and Kedusha, I want to, that's my world. So just because the Ezra is trying to entice me to, I won't, you have no shaykhs with me, get away from me. Yes, you chas v'sholom me. You have b'chira chofshis, you have, it's an aside. But I'm in my world. Don't disturb my world. Could have been that way. But now you're not letting the nefesh abahamis disturb his world. That also have iskafia. It's also iskafia. Why does it have to be a slapshus? That wherever the nefesh abahamis is, there's that automatic effect and the seemingly lowering. Here I daven and I had a total feeling of my connection with the Eibishter, v'chuli, and all at once, steak and ice cream and this and that, and I'm drawn, I lose it. I just finished davening with kavona, and I'm a little bit hungry, and the breakfast is waiting for me. I run! What for? If I would be in my own world, it would take time for the nefesh abahamis to affect me. I wouldn't run right after that. So why does it have to be the slapshus? That's the slapshus is lyric. Once I saw that, I saw, oh, now I understand. I think I understand. I can't say that you understand really Yadaiti very easy. But I got some kind of an insight in what the Rebbe was saying. Why did the Rebbe have to spend thousands and tens of thousands of hours to Farbrengen with us? He could have said his words in 1 hour. A lot of people that didn't have patience, it sounded to them sometimes like a repetition. The Rebbe seems to be repeating himself. Why? Because he didn't go into the aiming of what the Rebbe is trying to say. But the Rebbe tried to carry it down so that everybody should be able to understand it. Why did the Rebbe have to write? You have the Igros Kodesh, which is only a drop in the bucket of the dozens of thousands of tens of thousands of letters that the Rebbe wrote. What? He wrote a letter to us.
Can I hold it for you?
Thank you, I appreciate it. He wrote a letter to little kids that ask a question. This one doesn't work.
For what?
This is for show.
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Sorry.
Try to exchange it, whatever. All right, whatever. Why do you have tens of thousands of letters to every Tom, Dick, whatever it is, to every little child, to every person that came with his greps of asking a question, etc., etc., and the Rebbe had to lower it to him, and to write all these letters. He could have said, here's the rules. And all the letters basically follow one rule. Ratzon Hashem. That runs the world. Torah is the direction of how to run the world. So annul yourself to the Ratzon Hashem, go according to the way that the Torah revealed it, and finish. Why do you have to carry down this, what this means in that particular problem where that person found himself? So it was a slapshus that the Rebbe, like the known story with the Rebbe Marash. There's a known story with the Rebbe Marash in Yechidus. There was Yechidus only an hour, or whatever it was. Short Yechidus. The whole Yechidus was only for an hour. And the Shamash came out after the Yechidus, the Chassid, and he said, I don't know, why is he sweating so much? I have to change the clothes. The whole Yechidus was only 1 hour. It wasn't that long. Why is he sweating? Why does he have to constantly change his clothes of Chuli? He was complaining to a Chassid. So Rebbe Marash, because he said that he told secrets from the room, so he fired him. He can't be the Gabi anymore, although he kept his salary. And then he explained I don't know if it was to the Shamash himself or to the Chassid. He said, "What don't you understand? A person comes into me with a certain problem. I'm in my world. His problem is in his world. In order for me to be able to approach his problem, to deal with his problem, I have to undress myself from my world and dress myself into his world. And then when the next person comes, I have to undress myself in that world and dress myself into this new world. And then undress myself again. So when in this hour, 15 or 20 people came in this hour to Yechidus, it was short Yechidus, but 15 or 20, I had to dress myself and undress myself 20 times in 1 hour. Who wouldn't sweat? Why don't you understand? Yechidus is not the pshat is that the Rebbe used his wisdom of where he's standing and he told you what way it is. He put himself into your world and how you will approach, and from your world that you should be able to grasp what it was this. And with that was all the Yechidus, and with that is the same thing with the letters, v'chuli v'chuli. So the Rebbe could have given general directives. You want to know which way to go? A, B, C, give 100 directives, 200 directives, and now figure it out. Why you need the slapshus? Why does Farbrengen to sing and to approach and attach himself with every single person on an individual level according to his world? And the same thing with everything else. Because the Rebbe wanted us to feel. He wanted us, the way we are, to feel and to act the way we are. And that's what the Rebbe said that Sikha. If I say I want Mashiach now, only because I'm told to say it, that's a Baba Maisa. If I don't feel the need for Mashiach, then all my slapshus and everything that I did and everything that I accomplished, that he spent literally, I don't know what percent, how to measure these percentages, but it's all Havelarik. For what? What do they need this slapshus for? The directives you can know without this slapshus. And if I can't be poil with my whole slapshus, that I dressed myself into you, tried to put myself into your mind, into your character, into your being, and that's how the sichas were carried down, that's how the Farbrengen was carried down, and that's how the letters were written. So then it was the Takala Havelarik, the slapshus, not the Torah Chas v'Sholem, and not the Balachua that he made Chas v'Sholem, and not the Eitzes Tevis that he gave Chas v'Sholem, but the way, the slapshus that he took of himself with total Mesiras Nefesh and total was Mislavish in us. That was the Havelarik. So we have to understand over here what exactly is happening. We had, everybody's crying, and Gimel Tammuz, and all these other things. There was 40 plus years, over 40 years, where the Rebbe literally gave himself over and tried to give over, and that we saw Muchesh how he cried and cried on Tzoras Yisrael, how he cried on Shechinta B'Gelusa, how he spoke and brought out in so many different ways the necessity that we need the Geula, and that this Geula is just becoming darker and darker. Yeah, he was Matzdik also Klal Yisrael. We remember the Sikha where the Rebbe was talking to the Eibishter. That when the child, he brought the story that the hide and seek, and the child is looking for his father and looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, and he doesn't find a Nachamol, and we're limited beings. How much can be expected? Yeah, he's crying for that also. It's both sides. Side Shechinta B'Gelusa and side that that the Golos is becoming so hard. Yeah, he was crying. But he tried to arouse within us, and he carried himself down. As much as the Rebbe was mefursim, my friends, let me tell you a little klal over here. As much as the Rebbe was mefursim, and I don't know if there was a person that was more mefursim than the Rebbe in the entire world, by all chugim, etc., etc., he was the biggest nister possible. Because every tenua was totally hidden, was in Slavish. The way he was in Slavish, the way he carried himself, this wasn't a bigger nister than him. It's not only by Rebbe, but every tzaddik emes. But every true tzaddik, I don't remember who the story is with, that one of the big tzaddikim was asked once whether it's possible that the tzaddikim agluim, that the revealed tzaddikim, that amongst them you have the lamed vav tzaddikim nistorim. Is it possible that the lamed vav tzaddikim nistorim could be one of the tzaddikim agluim? One of the revealed things that we know about them. So he answered, "Ochem veivolt gewen." Woe would be if benister we are like we are begoliv. That's all we consist of. Now, it's whatever we know of the tzaddik, whatever we know of the Rebbe, whatever greatness we know of him, it doesn't begin to define what he's really all about. That he's totally bottled to the Ratzon Hashem and the Shlichus without thinking about himself, totally without any self-centered. We have no idea what that means because Ilya Daiti Vayis. The Rebbe was tried to be poil in each one of us. Get out of the Golos mode. What is the Golos mode? Yeah, so we can say it in a short sentence, I want Mashiach now. But if I really want Mashiach now, what are all these different cheshbonis that I'm making? Why is the first thought is, what's my bank account? Or why is the first thought is, what's with this taiva or that taiva? When I wake up with Moed Ani, so Moed Ani lefanecha, yes, I know I have a tafkid. Shazar to be nishmasi, like the Rebbe explains, and that's with great rachmanis, etc. Now, because Hichzar to be nishmasi, what's next? What's the next thought? And after I say the Bichas HaShachar, and I express in the Bichas HaShachar that every single thing, even though it looks to me like the most natural thing, Malbish Umim, I put on my pants, I put on my shirt, I put on my jacket, Zeikik Fuf, I stood up, I'm wearing shoes. Most basic things, and it's all Baruch Ato Havaya Lekeinu Melech Haolam. Nothing is happening by itself. That's the whole Bichas HaShachar that we're going, that even the most basic things are Baruch Ato Havaya Lekeinu Melech Haolam. What's the next thought? And therefore, what do I have to use my koiches for? What do my thoughts for? Where does my concentration have to be, etc., etc.? What's the next thought? And this is, you want all that in a nutshell. You want all that in a nutshell. What the next thought have to be for is, I want Mashiach now. I don't want any more Golos HaShechina. I want it to be realized that Malbish HaRumim is not a tivistic thing, but it's something that's happening from the Eibishter. I want it to be realized that simple Gashmistic things is not happening. And that's what the month of Adar is also all about. That the most tevistic thing is, it's the Eibishter is running everything. When will this be revealed? And when will everybody come to realize that? When Mashiach comes. That's what Mashiach is about. Nigle Koid Havaya, Molokor Ezdeya, Zavai Amachasi. That's what it is about. That's what it is. It's not just a personified that will take me out of all my tzoros and that everything will be good and therefore I will live in my paradise, what the Rambam calls the Gan Eden of the Tipshim, Arvim HaTipshim, that they will have over there 1,000 concubines with gold and silver and palaces. And are we going like the Arvim HaTipshim and transforming Mashiach into that concept? We're not Arvim Tipshim. Mashiach is like the Rambam finishes off in the last halachas. What it's supposed to be about? Molor is there as a vayim, and that everybody has sikut das beiram. Which means, and so we have a certain capability of now also, and that the Rebbe showed us who more than the Rebbe, and which nekuda was boilet and is boilet in all the letters of the Rebbe, in all the heroes and the sichos of the Rebbe, that everything is what's will the Eibishter? Why did the Eibishter create me? Why does the Eibishter give me these koiches? And whatever I'm supposed to do, the Eibishter gives these koiches. So yes, there might look like there's benias and there's kuvim and there's all kinds of things that make it hard. Why? The hardships themselves are also the rotzen of the Eibishter. Because the Savala Kadosh Baruch Hu is there with Tachtoinim. That the Tachten also should be a mokum of Dir Lo Yisborach. So, wake up, Yidem, from the dream of Galus. choking you, I promise you. I won't choke you.
You're right.
I need a wine.
I'm trying to get new. You want wine? I'm gonna try to get new shirts that doesn't annoy me. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it top button open. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me take
Chaim.
Put the mic so I can hear you. It's hard to hear this.
In a letter that was just printed from the Rebbe, so over there's a pointer and a direction for Farbrengens. Maybe I'm not saying it lishma, maybe it's a shalai lishma, maybe I have a personal agenda over here, but the fact remains a fact. He said it's not worthwhile to make Farbrengens too late into the night because it disturbs the seder of the next day. What?
I have a mission to do.
Yes. Who are you, by the way?
Moshe Khan, I'm from the neighborhood.
What?
I'm from the neighborhood.
Mazel, shalom aleichem. Nice to meet you.
I was holding the mic last time.
That's right.
Yeah? Let him hold the mic.
He wants to make it easier for you.
No, it's easier with that thing.
It's easier with that thing?
Because then I can
Hello, it's broken. It's on.
No, but then the other guy needs to change this.
This one works.
Okay, but he wants this thing for his.
I got it.
Okay, no. Hold. Put that on because I get my hand.
No. My sister's thing.
Put it on. Put it on the table. So you don't have to go. Just put it on the table.
No one could hear it then.
Thank you.
I can hear you.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. Sometimes there's this feeling.
There's an echo.
Sometimes there's this feeling is, if now is good, why do I have to think about tomorrow? Let me utilize the goodness of right now. If right now I have a seirus, right now I have an arousement, so I want to live in that arousement. And why should I think about tomorrow when right now is good, but tomorrow will be tomorrow. That will be mechadish b'tuv v'choyam tam masiv reish. It'll be a new world, a new being, a new entity. But right now I want to make it as good as possible. There is such a feeling. However, there is in Chassidus, and the Rebbe speaks in the Sichos, that every moment of life is not only a moment for now. It's a moment that's connected with the past, and it's a moment that's connected with the future. And just like I have to make sure that the now is as good as it could be, I also have to make sure that the now prepares me in the best way possible for the next moment. And that the now fixes up whatever I have to fix up from the past. Over Hoiva and Osid is not separate entities. They're interrelated. So by Farbrengen, although it is good, but I have to think about what does the Eibishter want from me. And the Eibishter wants that there should be not only a world that's cut off from the future, but a world that what I'm doing right now will make the future as best as it could be. So you're making a Farbrengen or it's a moment of Hiserus. What does this moment, or what does the Farbrengen, what is supposed to accomplish? Which way would I go about in my life to try to accomplish my shlichus over here in this world? So when a person loses, yes, there's sometimes, I mean you have adrocha and you're led by a hand, and there's somebody that you can rely on, so he knows exactly what those limitations are. But a person like me doesn't know. So just to go, because right now it's geschmack, but I know my teva, I know my chlishus, that this geschmackheit and this this effort right now is going to tire me out, and therefore later I won't have koiches to be able to get up when I'm supposed to get up, or I won't be able to say the Krishna Shalamita the way I'm supposed to say it, or I won't be able to finish the Shurim that I didn't finish yet today, to learn the Rambam for tomorrow, to learn other, or whatever other kviyas you have. So then you have to make sure that you're making the right cheshbon. That's point one. Point two, the Rebbe said many times, every Farbrengen has to have a bechein. If it doesn't have a bechein, if it's just a Farbrengen for the, like I know there's a saying amongst a lot of chassidim, amongst a lot of people, that Farbrengen l'shem Farbrengen, finished. Don't think about anything else. But that's not the purpose of a Farbrengen. Although Farbrengen is a gewaltige thing, it's Achdus Yisrael and Avos Yisrael, and we're sitting united, and we're hearing things that right now can somehow concentrate. But this in itself also has to have a tachlis that the Eibish's Rotzen will be fulfilled a little bit better. I'm saying very simple things. And the truth of the matter is, goes even further. There's the known letter in the back of Tilim from the Frierdiker Rebbe. He brings that he tells the story. The Chassidim were sitting in Farbrengen, and the Chassidim Talmidei HaMagid were sitting in Farbrengen, and in the middle of the Farbrengen came in a Yid crying, and he said, "I want the bracha because my wife is sick, or somebody is sick in the family, and need a refuah shlema, and I want you to give me a bracha." So the Chassidim said, "You need a bracha, you have to go to the Rebbe. What do you want from us?" But the more they refused him, the more he cried and the more emotional he became, and he wanted a bracha from them. And he was disturbing the Farbrengen of the Talmidei HaMagid, so since he was disturbing it, there were some that wanted to throw him out, because he's just disturbing the Farbrengen. And the Alter Rebbe got up and said, no. Don't you remember the Piska, the novel Mishmei Shmaya, the Magid told us about, as was a Chassidische Farbrengen can ufton, Kemalach Mechol nicht ufton. A Chassidische Farbrengen can accomplish, Malach Mechol can't accomplish. And therefore, since we're sitting in a Chassidische Farbrengen, so we have a capability what Malach Mechol doesn't have, if it's a real Chassidische Farbrengen. And therefore we can give a bracha. Even though we talk only Chassidim, we're not Rebbes, we're not these big people, we can give a bracha. Now let's meditate for a second. Let's think. What are we talking about over here? What we're talking about over here is somebody is sick, there's Gashmiistic limitations, physical limitations, and that the world runs with the physical limitations, with natural limitations. But Ava became, it was a Chassidish Farbrengen can ufton, Kemalach Mechol nicht ufton, we can give a bracha that he should be helped beyond the physical limitations, and that there should be a refuah shlema. That's the koyach that the Chassidish Farbrengen gives. And if that is so, in Gashmias, even though that the Rebbe brings from the Droshes Haran, and it's explained in a lot of places, and the physical limitations are part of the creation of the Eibishter. And the physical limitations have a purpose in the grandiose plans of this physical world. And the Eibishter does not want to change the physical limitations. And that's why La'avat Kuchavicha Nisal and Migna. And in order to bring about a miracle, in order to bring about a ness, you have to break through barriers. You have to change the whole Seder Ishtalshlus that the Eibishter should make a ness. It doesn't go so easy, because it goes against what the original purpose that the Eibishter created. They wanted the world to be a tivistic world and not a world of ness. We can break through these barriers and make a ness when the Chassidish Farbrengen is a real Chassidish Farbrengen. So if this is true in Gashmias, how much more so Kavachayim ben B'nai Kavachayim Elef Pamim Kavachayim when it comes to Ruchnias? Where over there, when it comes to Ruchnias, this Lachatchila is the Rotzen of the Eibishter. The Eibishter wants every Yid to be the Yid the way it could be and the way it should be. These hardships. The hardships are part of the original plan of the Eibishter. The Eibishter wanted a dir b'tachteinu. They're not a separate thing. because he wanted everything should happen through our bchira, through our avodah, not that we are robots, not that we're forced. So there's hardship. That's why there's the hardships. But the Eibishter wants us to overcome these hardships. So when there's a Chassidus of Farbrengen and there's a Eirus to go ahead and fulfill the mission for which the Eibishter put me into this world, so over here for sure, if the Chassidus of Farbrengen can accomplish a ness to break the Gidri HaTeva, for sure the Chassidus of Farbrengen will give me koiches to fulfill my mission in Ruchnius. And that is the bechein that the Chassidus of Farbrengen is supposed to bring to. They have to have that realization. So it's a time where a person has to make a calculation. A person has to make it, what needs chizuk? What do I have? Do I need more hasmoda? Do I need more kavon and davening? Do I need more awareness of the Ashgocha Protis? Let's take a simple one and just take this simple thing. In Hayom Yom it's mentioned 3 or 4 times. That when a person walks in the street, he has to realize he's walking in the street by Ashgocha Protis. And when I'm walking, wherever I'm walking, even though it looks like I'm walking in the street because I have to go shopping and I have to go to a certain store, every step that I take and I walk over a certain sidewalk, that floor was waiting from Sheishis Mei Breishis, when will Yid come and say Divrei Torah on me? When will Yid come and do a mitzvah with me, whether we're doing through Miftzayim or whatever it is? So it's a simple cheshbon over here. How much am I tuned into that? When I'm walking in the street, it's not a big nisoyin. And Adarab, it might help for other nisyonis. Like this, I'm walking in the street, especially in Los Angeles, there's all kinds of billboards and Achman al-Tzlan, whatever it is, etc. If I'm occupied in chazring a Mishnah Baal Peh, or a line Tanya Baal Peh, or a Maimah Baal Peh, or a Sikha Baal Peh, I'm occupied with that, so automatically that'll help me keep my mind where it's supposed to be. How many people are tuned into that? So when you're sitting by a Chassidus of Farbrengen, and that you play Ma Yor the Neshama Lemato, and the purpose that the Neshama has to fulfill, and that every Neshama can bring about the Nachas Ruach to the Eibishter himself, and that everybody has his individual tachlis. If I'm just living with the moment of enjoying, yay, I heard a beautiful story, yay, I heard a nice idea, or I had a nice pirush, whatever it is, and I'm not connecting it with the koiches that this Farbrengen can give me in order to accomplish my mission, so I'm missing the point. Yeah, it's a very nice thing. It's better to sit by a Farbrengen than to lie in bed and read a book or whatever it is. It's better to sit by a Farbrengen to do other things, obviously. But if I can have diamonds, why should I be satisfied with copper? So we have to not forget that the ultimate purpose of the Farbrengen is the bechein. Everybody in whatever area he can feel, but something to get moving in the right direction, not to stay stuck. That Rahman al-Tzlan, tomorrow is like yesterday is like the day before, and the next day will be like this, and time is just passing. I mean, I feel right now, I became 80. A whole tumult, a ganze Geschichte, a ganze Dos, a whole mice over here. And I didn't say Yashakayach to all the brochim that gave me brochas and everything. I appreciate it. It's helping me wake me up a little bit. As far as my personal gashmistic feeling is concerned, it's another day. There's nothing recognizable in the day. There's nothing recognizable in the. I ate supper like I ate supper. I'm drinking and saying l'chaim like I drink and sang l'chaim the day before. So yes, there's something going on, which reminds me, hey, Bacher, whatever, but do something. Do something. Wake up. Utilize the moment. Utilize the opportunity. Because otherwise the time in itself doesn't tell you anything. It's just passing on its own. And this is one of the things that everything is Ashgocha Protis, and every moment is Ashgocha Protis, and every moment has its purpose, etc. And when we're sitting by a Chassidus of Farbrengen and trying to mechazik each other, and trying to do and accomplish something, so this is the first thing that we have to, what should I utilize this Farbrengen? In which area do I want to create a certain chizuk and a certain strengthening, and with the achlot teva to fix up what has to be fixed? It's something. So you're going to say, but there's so many things to fix and so many things to do, and I'm not going to change totally. Every pula teva has a hashpah. Mitzvah gereres mitzvah. How many stories did we hear from Mitzrayim? How many times did Rebbe say, because a little girl lit a Shabbos candle, and without really understanding what she's doing. So it brought about the mitzvah gereres mitzvah that the house changed, and it brought about mitzvah gereres mitzvah that it started being Shomer Shabbos, and it started keeping kashrus, etc., etc. And we don't know the power. If somebody that knows that he needs some kind of a chizuk in a certain area, so that's the metzias advarim. If you are machli by Farbrengen, you get special koiches to make that chizuk and accomplish that chizuk, and you just do it and that will bring out the real simcha, the real satisfaction. L'chaim, l'chaim. Okay, Chavre, I have nothing else to say. There's one thing that we have to go another rekud. I need to break my barriers of simcha. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Wow.